Hello, hello, and welcome. It's Tracy at Video Script Success. And today I want to talk to you about that inner critic. Oh, he is real, right? I want to stop that inner critic because so many times a lot of you tell me a lot of different excuses, a lot of different reasons why you're not going live, why you're not using video, why you can't do this. And I'm here to tell you that none of those are actually valid. And we're going to talk about that today. I'm here to support you. I'm not here to beat you down. But listen, this all has to do with perception and perfectionism. And Mark Cuban has a quote that I love. I use it all the time. And that is, perfectionism is the enemy of profitability. Perfectionism is the enemy of success. And you need to think about that because so many of you, like so many of us, are thrust into the role of marketer when what we want to do is just share our gifts, right? But to come online, unless you come in with a big team, you also now have to be good on video. On top of everything else, like building your landing pages and Facebook ads and showing up and doing emails and blogs and every podcast and everything like that, right? Hey, Daryl. And so many of us are thrust into this role of marketer, and video is such a big part of that. But video is also hard, right? Because you're not a natural. And so you see everybody else rocking their videos and you're like, yeah, I want to do that, but I can't do that. Or I want to do that, I don't know how to do that. Or I want to do that and I won't show up until I'm that. And that's what I call the expectation gap, which I know many of you have heard me talk about before. But again, it's that expectation gap of seeing somebody who's been doing video for a long time and seems very comfortable, doesn't even seem to be reading from notes, doesn't care that they flub a little bit, because live video particularly, by the way, is very forgiving, right? But you're here looking at them going, oh, they're so good. And that's where I want to be. And that's where I want to start. And nobody starts there. I don't know if anybody has been with me long enough that I have a video of Marie Forleo. It's a screen grab of video she did 10 years ago when she was first starting out. And I don't know if the content was good or not. It was definitely not her normal delivery, but it looked so bad. And it looked bad because her framing was bad and it was way too close and it was like a crotch shot. And so, but now when you look at Marie Forleo, if that's someone who you're like, I love her on video, she's here, right? And you're here. And that gap is not as big as you think it is, but you have to acknowledge that you're here and you can't start here. You are never going to wake up here. I always get confused when I do this backwards, right? You're never going to wake up just here because you have to get good. It's a muscle you have to practice. And so I want to today help you work through that inner critic. I have a name for her, by the way. Cringy happens in the beginning. Yeah, and you have to, right? If you want to go from suck to success, this is what you have to do. You have to just decide you're going to do it. I'm going to talk you through it. I'm not going to be like, okay, just do it. Because one of my pet peeves for other influencers and experts in the field, they'll say very flippantly, just do it. And this is not a Nike ad, because if it were that easy, everybody would be doing it. And here's the thing, lots of people are doing video and they're not doing it well. So I want you to show up with the confidence and be like, Tracy taught me how to do this and I'm going to show up with confidence and I'm going to do it well. But first you have to acknowledge that you're a beginner, if that's where you are, or if you're already making live videos and they are not hitting the mark, you haven't allowed yourself the time and the structure to get good at video, because there is a structure to it, right? And that's not even what I'm going to be talking about today. Daryl said, I'm here working through copywriting secrets, pairing it with the lives I've been doing and asking and rolling questions. Oh my gosh, Daryl, you get 5 stars. Not that you're looking for it, but great job. And Daryl is someone who worked with me. She took my live video Launchpad class. By the way, it's a 10-day accelerated class, not a challenge. It's a program. I am in there all the time. You are working really hard. But Daryl showed up on day 1, and by day 10, she was getting really good on lives. right? And it can happen. It can happen that fast. And why it happens that fast is because it took me years to figure out how to do it. I got the structure and strategy part down because that's what I do. But the comfort and being casual and conversational and professional, right? Hey, Rosemary, right? All of that is stuff that was curated over years. And what I've done is taken all of that and consolidated it into 10 days. And many of you, by the way, this is not a pitch for live video Launchpad. We're going to be talking about your inner critic, but that's where it starts. And what I will say, and I will keep saying it until you hear me, that if you are not doing any videos at all right now, video is like, you're like, I don't know where to start. You must start with live video, even if you're wrong, by the way, if you're thinking this, but even if you think, oh, well, I'm not going to use live video in my marketing, you should. But even if you think that that's not where you should start, live video is where you should start because it is so forgiving compared to pre-recorded videos. Even if they're short little micro videos, live video allows you to look at your notes. I've fallen down. I've done, like, my daughters come through on the end. I don't care about any of that. And what people love is they learn to love you as a person, and they learn to lean in and trust you. And believe me, when they're seeing you up there, they're looking at nothing other than, can this person teach me something? Are they going to get me from here to here? They're not looking at you the way you are looking at you. And that brings me right back around to the inner critic, right? Again, perfectionism is the enemy of profitability. Perfectionism is the enemy of success. That's Mark Cuban, and he's so spot on because you can stay stuck in the perfectionism, and I'm going to talk about like how that shows up, right? Because all of you do it. We all jump into the new year. We're like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make videos, right? And you buy the equipment, or you're on YouTube, or you're like, I'm working it in, but then something happens. That something, I've named her, happens, and you're not doing it, and you decide to put it on the back burner again. Well, I'm here to tell you, a few years ago, I was like, video is great to have, and it's not great to have anymore. It's a necessity. If you are going to have an online business, and Amy Porterfield, who I consider like the guru of all gurus when it comes to online marketing and email list building, she has podcasts. She said from stage, live video is the most effective way to make a connection with your online audience. And she continued, over emails, over podcasts, over blogs, over posts, right? Like, so live video is the thing that is going to catapult you and keep the momentum and create that connection and that relationship with your online audience like nothing else can. And your audience prefers live video 4 times as much to pre-recorded videos. And that matters because even in the replay. So when a lot of you say to me, I'm just going to pre-record and upload it, you can, but your audience would prefer it live, even if the live is on replay. And I need you to think about that, because that means the energy of the live, people watching on replay still like the energy of your live instead of the pre-recorded. And so like I can never match the energy I have right now on a pre-recorded video. And I consider myself pretty good at pre-recorded videos, but it's never the same. It's why I love live video. If live video is all I could do, I'd be such a happy camper, because it's easier, way easier. And Daryl, I'm sure you maybe can agree with that. Like if you have to try and like think about your like homepage video and landing page video and opt-in videos and sales videos and those type of things, those are pre-recorded videos, and those are a lot harder. So what I keep hearing is, it doesn't feel good enough. My videos don't feel good enough. It doesn't quite feel right. I'm scared of putting myself out there. I call the people who keep buying things and learning consta learners, because you keep buying stuff and you keep showing up and you keep watching, but you're not actually taking any action. So if you're a consta learner, that's a way of procrastinating. It's a way of I'm going to introduce you to my little friend in a little while. You can say that as like Al Pacino in Scarface. Let me introduce you to my little friends, right? And I'm going to introduce you to my little friends in a little bit. But my own story, right? Like every single time, I wish, one of the things I think about, I try not to do I wish in my house, but I really do wish I had started doing live videos sooner. And I've been doing it for 5 years, right? But I put it on the back burner. Every time I thought about going live, I would find something else that was far more pressing, like sorting socks, calling the IRS, organizing the junk drawer, right? Like if that sounds familiar to anybody, right? Anything that could distract me from admitting, and here's where that inner critic, that live video actually made me feel like an amateur. And I think that's where a lot of you are showing up too, because you are an expert at what you do. You're an expert in your field. You may not be able to perfectly verbalize and show up visually and say that. That's what the practice part of it is, right? But you are an expert. And so video makes you feel like an amateur. It made me feel like an amateur. And I was the video expert, right? Like, so I didn't feel, I was working with private clients. I was helping them do $500,000 launches when I was pretty new to this. I was part of some pretty big launches, right? And so here I am, very comfortable and like getting other people to do it. It was part of their plan to go live. But every time I put myself like in that position, I was like, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. And here's why. And her name is Perfectionist Patty. That is my little friend, right? And her sole mission in life is to stop you from being visible. She only wants you to show up when everything is perfectly produced, perfectly delivered, perfectly perfect in every way. It's like the Mary Poppins, right? And she has got a team of minions. She does. They're horrible. And I call them her itty bitty shitty committee. Thank you very much, Katie Brower, who gave me that. I told her about Perfectionist Patty. She told me about the minions, the itty bitty shitty committee, and they're jerks, right? They are jerks. And here's how Perfectionist Patty shows up. Sitting on your shoulder, whispering in your ear, telling you you're too loud, you're too shy, you're too fat, you're too old, you're too inexperienced, you're boring, you're tech challenged, so you should definitely not go live, you're video phobic, and that is your excuse. And these are all of the excuses that Perfectionist Patty is sitting on your shoulder and she's stopping you. And so again, back to Mark Cuban, perfectionism kills profit. I just ad-libbed a little bit there, right? So Kalinda calling the IRS. Yeah, the internal, here in the States, the tax people. That sounded better than going live, right? Like, I will do anything. And Michelle said, because of your inspiration, I started to go live every other week in my group. And the other admin goes live on my off week. So our group sees live video every week. Michelle, I'm going to take a screen grab. And everybody who knows me knows that this is what I do, right? I have kicked her to the curb. I am so happy. And I love Robin. I don't know if you're watching on the replay. I was working with someone who took a homepage video workshop. We're talking about Perfectionist Patty. She showed up. She showed me, we had a private. And I was like, wow, you really, you told Perfectionist Patty to suck it. And she goes, I didn't tell her to suck it. I locked that bitch in the closet. And I burst out laughing because here's someone very professional and very put together and very lovely. And I just loved that she recognized that she could allow Patty to tell her all of these things. But the thing is, again, Patty and her little itty shitty bitty committee, I got that backwards, but it doesn't matter. You get what I mean. She is your inner critic. These are stories. So all of these things, whether it's tech, whether it's the thing I hear a lot about is like the tech, right? And the truth. So when we talk about story versus truths, if the tech were actually holding you back from doing lives, you could YouTube it. That's my YouTube, and Google it. You could find out and in 7 minutes be set up. There are so many videos on what you need. Now, finding the right one, I always pick the shortest YouTube video, right? Like, I could have you set up in 7 minutes. The tech isn't actually what's holding you back. That's an excuse. That is a story. But we allow Perfectionist Patty to hang out, and she's mulling around, and her little minions are like, you suck, and nobody's going to like you, and nobody's going to show up. Or maybe, what if they do show up, right? Like, that's the other thing I hear. And again, the magic of live is not people being on there live with you, although I love when you are all on here with me. The magic of your live is in the replay, and the magic of your live is actually using that live to generate leads. And there's a couple different ways that you can do that, right? So this is not about just showing up and having a gabillion people on with you. That's not how live video works. And that's kind of one of those myths. right? So Michelle says, I've kicked to the curb. So good. I know, but that's absolutely hilarious. I'm so glad you liked it, Galinda. Galinda, who, by the way, is my conversion copywriter, when she likes something I say, I'm like, mark that down. Right. Calling the IRS. It's in my book. I wrote that in my book, right? So you want to tell her to suck it. When you have to decide, right, that your desire to reach your audience is greater than your fear, because what she is fear showing up. And I even had an illustration for those of you who saw, that was just a small part of her, but I had Perfectionist Patty illustrated because I need to use her. She needs to be someone that you can visually picture shoving out the door so that you can do what you do best, and that's help people, reach people, work with people, right? But you're never going to get there. And again, no one is going to work with you if they don't know you're there, if they don't know you exist. And there's more to that. Once they find out you exist, then you're creating a relationship where they can trust you. And that's where the live video comes in. There's so many ways that live video is just like a win-win. I always do like the little, you're gambling. I don't gamble, but like the little slot machines are like ding, 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 right? Live video hits all of those things. It's a great way to learn video. Once you do live video, all of my students who have done live video Launchpad then will go back and they're doing pre-recorded videos, and they're so much better, and they're not so hard on themselves, right? That's the thing. You're allowing Perfectionist Patty to keep you small, to keep you not shining your light, right? And so when you decide that your desire to share your gifts and change lives is greater than your fear or your judgment of being like messing up and not appearing perfectly perfect in every way, it is so liberating, right? And it helps you because the one thing, one of the first things I teach in Live Video Launchpad is that your videos are not about you. And yet every excuse you're making about you, right? And so when you start to shift that and the focus is off of you and directed towards helping the people you want to reach, again, it is life-changing, right? So again, live video for the win. So again, if you're watching on replay, #replay, but let me know like what it is really. And of course, I'm going to call you out and say, oh, that's not really the excuse, but why are you not doing videos? Why are you not doing live videos? Now, if you tell me it's the structure, there's no strategy, you're not sure why you're doing it, that's different. That's what Live Video Launchpad is for, right? That's why you would take Live Video Launchpad, is because that's what we talk about. We talk about the mindset. We talk about how to set everything up physically. But really what we spend time doing is getting comfortable, because there is only one way to get good at video. Anybody? Yeah, it's making videos. So one of my frustrations is, I call it shelf help. You keep buying courses and you keep doing things, and then you may go through it, but you don't implement it and you don't create momentum from it. And it is why Live Video Launchpad is 10 days, because you can do nothing but succeed. I will not allow it. I will not allow you to kind of sit on the sidelines. You can't. You have to participate. And it's not hard. And especially, I think the one thing I hear everybody say in Live Video Launchpad is like, oh my gosh, like what you built up in your head to what it actually is very different. And then from there, you've got the momentum, right? So I am here. Let me know, how can I help you kick Perfectionist Patty to the curb? Because again, when Mark Cuban's saying, that perfectionism basically is the enemy of profitability, what he's saying is that if you allow yourself to be stuck in the perfectionism and you don't take imperfect action, you're not going to make any money, because you're not going to put yourself out there and nobody will know who you are. And then what? And then you've got a really expensive hobby. But most of us online are here to make money and to change lives. And it's not this or that, it's and, right? And so using live video to reach your audience and make an impact and change their lives and make money is awesome. right? So what I'm going to do today, because I'm thinking there's a pop-up class in my future so that I can work with some of you. But here I'm putting up here. I wish I could put it in the comments, but I'll put it below afterwards because you can't click this. But I want you to join the live video Launchpad waitlist. If I've been talking about this and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I want in. It's not open yet. It's not going to be open until the beginning of March, but I start to talk about it now because I already have a wait list, right? It's 10 days of accelerated awesomeness. You cannot do anything but succeed, right? Because it is 10 days of focused time. And then like Daryl and everybody else has been through it, you start making lives, you start doing it, and you start to get your momentum and your mojo. And we talk about how to turn those lives into leads, right? So I feel a pop-up class coming on so that we can talk about like setting up your live video. I can throw in some home studio stuff where we're all on Zoom, maybe not like, right, like not here. My pop-up classes, by the way, are not recorded. We just pop in and I do a little training. And so maybe that will help you overcome this inner critic, but I would love to know, what is it that you think is holding you back from live video? Because I can tell you I have the answer for you, right? Like I can help you do it. But what I really want you to do today is think back and think about, before you even write the excuse. See what I did there? I called it an excuse. And really think about, like, is that truth or is that a story? Because time is another one, which is a story. That's Perfectionist Patty saying, no, you're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. You're not ready yet. Because again, you will find time in your business for the things that will generate income and bring in leads and that type of thing. And video absolutely will. So it's an excuse to say you don't have time to do it. You will make time, right? And so like Michelle was saying, like she has someone she's part of a group with. She'll go live one week, they go live the other week. That means she just has to go live twice a month and her community is served and they're building a relationship. And I bet it's amazing, right? So again, hashtag replay, but let me know in the comments if you're not doing live video right now, currently, consistently, because by the way, that's also Perfectionist Patty, who lets you show up once or twice. And then she's like, no, you suck at it. Don't do it again, right? Consistency is a lot. How did you put the info on your screen? Bum, bum. It says Facebook user. I don't know who it is. I use Streamyard. Welcome to Streamyard. I love Streamyard because I am currently multicasting. That means I am being shot out onto many places. I'm on my profile page. I'm on my business page. I am in my private group. I am on YouTube right now. Hi, YouTubers, right? And so with Streamyard, I have the pro plan and you can put up banners, lots of different banners. So when I'm teaching, sometimes I'll do like 1, 2, 3, 4, but you can bring up banners, you can do names. If you have a guest, you can put their name in. I love it because I started in the world of production behind kind of doing news type thing where we would have a switcher and you would switch in the graphics and stuff. So I feel like I'm switching in the graphics. So it's basically a little bar here, right? Like I can send people to this, or do this, or just to my websites. None of the other two are open, but what I want you to do is join the wait list because we'll be starting in March and it is so much fun. If you're watching on the replay and you've been through LVL, let everybody else know how amazing it is. And the people who have already been through it are super excited for it to start in March. And here's why. Once you join Live Video Launchpad once, you don't get charged again, but every time I run it, you are allowed to take part in the live portion of it so that you keep getting better, you keep practicing. So it's this amazing community of people who just keep getting better, but it's so wonderful to be, if you're brand new in there and you see other people who were exactly where you were, and then you're like, there's no way they were where like I am now. And I'm there to tell you, and they're there to tell you, oh yes, they were. Right? It happens fast. It is super fun. I'll be talking more about that over the next couple of weeks. But today I really just wanted to talk about your inner critic. Her name is Perfectionist Patty, and we need to tell her to suck it. Okay, that's all I have today. I will see you next week, or maybe I'll see you in a pop-up class. Who knows? See ya.